What's up, y'all? It's your boy Mr. Cheap Sense here. And before I go any further, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, make sure you do so at this time. Also, ring the bell for notifications. There's an icon that's going to open up above the bell. Make sure you hit all so you get all content uploaded by me through this channel. Also, like the video, thumbs up, share the video, and make sure you're active in the comment section. This list is going to be some of my most favorite sophisticated smelling fragrances that I own, whether I purchased it or it was gifted to me or somebody sent me samples or whatever you may want to call it. A lot of the fragrances that are going to be in this list probably aren't going to be the most favorite for some people. But for the most part, this is just my personal opinion on what I have personally here in my own collection. This is not widespread. I know other people would throw other things on this list and take out some things. So feel free, if you want to, in the comment section to let me know what you think should have been on this list or what shouldn't have been on this list. I'm more than interested to hear what you have to say. So let's get started. This list is in no particular order. This is not least favorite to favorite. This is just how they came out in this list, and I'm just gonna grab whatever and talk about it. So first off in this list, Amouage Lyric Man, I think, is a very sophisticated fragrance. Most don't like it because it smells kind of churchy. It smells a little powdery. I actually like this fragrance a lot. I didn't get any compliments when I wore it, but it's still a nice fragrance. You dress up with this one. All of these you really have to dress up with, but this is a more dress up kind of fragrance. This is not one of those dress down type fragrances. So yes, you will have to put on, well, like what I have on now, this type shirt, maybe button up with a tie, something like that. But that's how you dress with this one. So at the number 10 spot, Amouage Lyric Man. Tom Ford's Ombre Leather. If you like leather, then you would definitely pick this one up. Very nice, very sophisticated fragrance. Yes, the first two I just talked about, or I'm talking about this one now, are a little on the pricey side, even though this channel started out being about more inexpensive fragrances. You guys have sent me all these samples and decants to test this stuff, and I can't not talk about these fragrances because I have them, and most of them anyway, and if they're good, they're good. You can't deny it. And Tom Ford's Ombre Leather is one of those fragrances that should be at least not a full bottle presentation, a decant of in your collection. So that's the number 9 spot. One I heard people talking about on, I think, Instagram. People were saying they really didn't like this fragrance. Some people say they blind bought it and, you know, they were disappointed. That is the number one reason, in my personal opinion, people shouldn't blind buy fragrances, especially if you're gonna spend money for this particular fragrance, because it's not really inexpensive. It's not on the high end as far as like Creed or stuff like that, Amouage, but it's along the same type line. Serge Lutens Chergui. People were saying they didn't like it. People were saying it was hyped, and people bought it and they said they don't get the sweetness of it. They don't pick up this aspect or that aspect. I sprayed it a few minutes ago and I did pick up the honey that's in it. It does have, I think, like a hay note or something, if I'm not mistaken. I actually like this fragrance. This is not one that you dress down with. Like I said, all of these are going to be dress up type fragrances. And most of the time people are looking for something that's like an everyday wear. This is not one of them. So check this out. Serge Lutens Chergui. At the number 7 spot, we're going with Nasomoto Black Afghano. Another very nice, dark, sophisticated type fragrance. I love it. I wish I actually had more of this. Maybe someday soon I'll be able to, but for the most part, I like this fragrance. There are some people who talk about it, but it doesn't get the spotlight that a lot of these other fragrances get. So I like it, and that's my number 7 spot. Number 6 is one I actually wore not too long ago to an interview, and I was surprised at how well this thing performed. It is from Black Phantom by Kilian. This is Memento Mori. Kind of powdery. Don't overspray. Trust me. That powder in it can get a little cloying, but for the most part, this performed pretty well. I like it, and I'm pretty sure the people I were around at my interview didn't mind smelling this because it does come off very nice if sprayed correctly. Let's see. At the number 5 spot, I'm going to go with from the House of Alexandria Fragrances. This is one that also isn't that popular, which is why I have it in my collection, because somebody didn't like it and they gifted it to me. This is Fade to Black. And I absolutely love this fragrance. Another one of those powdery type fragrances. It does have some sweetness to it. It has tobacco. It has honey. It has a fruity nuance to it. I like it. It performs well. I think I actually wore this one to my mom and my stepdad's wedding renewal, wedding vow renewals at the church. Very nice fragrance. It performs well. Like I said, another fragrance that you have to dress up with. This is not a dress down type fragrance. So that's the number 5 spot. At the number 4 spot, one that I'm glad I got my hands on. Now, Ashton from Gent Sense talked about this fragrance, and not this particular one, but another one from this line, which is, I think, the Oriental version. I've never smelled that. I haven't even seen that one in the wild, which is why when I saw this particular one, I had to get my hands on it, and it is Bulgari Man in Black. I've heard a lot of good things about this fragrance, and I see why. This is a very nice, well-blended, sophisticated type fragrance. Another one, suit and tie or button up like I got on now. That type of fragrance. Very nice. I like it. I like it a lot. That's the number 3 spot, or 4 spot, I should say. At the number 3 spot, one that has kind of been a disappointment to a lot of people, not to me, because I'm not one who cries about something being reformulated or not performing well, because I have a mean pump fake game, as my boy Trey Scent says. I don't mind reapplying if I have to. I know that gets annoying to some people, but doesn't bother me. So YSL La Nuit de l'Homme, that cardamom bomb. Very nice, attractive, sophisticated type fragrance. The way it's reformulated now, I call it a close encounter type scent, which the next one I'm going to talk about is another close encounter scent that smells great. But this one is nice. If you can find the OG version of this, then definitely pick that up. I know you're going to pay a pretty penny for it, but I think the reformulated versions of this aren't bad. I don't mind a fragrance performing at least 4 hours, 5 hours, because most of the time you put on something like this, you're not going to be going too long. You're going to go on your date. You're going to go to the movies, a couple of hours, back to the crib, and you know what happens after that. So it is what it is. So at the number 3 spot, La Nuit de l'Homme by YSL. At the number 2 spot, I think you can go, there are 3 different variations of this as of right now. I think the original is just as good still. I know the new Parfum, I think, is the one that just came out. They said they took out some stuff that made the OG and the EDP what it is. I'm not interested in that one. I'm happy with the OG, which is Dolce & Gabbana, the one EDT. This is the 150 ml bottle that I have. And there are going to be people who are going to see this bottle and say, oh man, he ain't even wore it. Well, not this particular one because I just got it not too long ago. But I did have the 50 ml that I gifted to, well, it wasn't really a gift. We did a trade. Georgia Gent, Matt, and I did a trade. So I gave him my partial of the original 50 ml EDT for something else that he traded me for. But I do also have the EDP, Eau de Parfum. And I still think, even though I have this, I like this one. I wore this one once before with a young lady that I was dating at the time, a supervisor from Ross. And we were watching some movies on Netflix, and she was leaning on me, and she kept sniffing me and telling me how great I smelled. And Close Encounter type scent. Performs for a few hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours. That's all I need out of it. Doesn't really matter. The EDP, you do get slightly better performance, but it's not that much better. So if you find the EDT for a decent price, I think you should just go with the EDT, unless you're just interested in going with the EDP or the Parfum. It doesn't really matter. So that's the number 2 spot. And the number 1 spot goes to Christian Dior. This is Dior Homme Intense. Very nice, sophisticated fragrance. Why would Christian Dior want to tamper with something like this? Now, I'm not sure about what's going on right now. I know they got this new line. I don't know if it's a reformulation or is it just a totally different new line. But whatever the case may be, don't tamper with the OGs, because this thing is nice. It's very well blended. People love these fragrances for reasons. And for companies to be messing with the originals is a shame. I love this fragrance. One that was gifted to me by Georgia Gent. He wasn't fond of it. Somebody gave it to him. He gifted it to me in a trade that we did. And I'm glad to have it in my collection. So those are my top 10 sophisticated fragrances in my collection. Yes, there are other fragrances that I could have went with. I could have did a honorable mention section to this video, but I chose not to go that route. It's already bad enough. People are not gonna like the fact that I did a top 10 video of whatever. So with that being said, here is To Smelling Great. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more. Peace.